We're here today with Aaron Levie. He's the co-founder and CEO of Box.net. And I have to ask you the first question because of the Amazon news that we've been covering today. Unveiling this new cloud drive service, 5 gigabytes, that's exactly what you guys offer. How do you think that's going to play into all the small startups, such as yours, that offer these cloud consuming products?
Sure. So we actually think Amazon's announcement of launching a cloud drive is actually pretty exciting for the space. We think that the more sort of bigger providers that enter the market and create more awareness and education is going to be a good thing. I actually played around with the product last night. It's not very functional, so there's a lot of sort of stuff that they need to be able to do to actually be competitive in the space. But it's a good start, and I think it's a good thing for the category.
So how do you differentiate yourself? Everybody's getting into the cloud, and specifically, there's a ton of startups really focused on this consumer cloud area.
Yep.
How are you going to differentiate yourself, especially when you have all the big guys starting to get in here?
Yeah. So our focus is on solving problems for businesses. So we have over 60,000 active businesses that use Box.net to store, manage, and share their data in the cloud. And if you think about kind of all the tools and all the software in your organization, we're building something that can make it really easy to share.
You guys actually introduced a new part of that enterprise product. One of the questions I have, though, is when you look at the monetization strategy, how much do you see coming from the enterprise products versus the premium consumer products?
So in our specific business, it's nearly 90% of our revenue comes from the enterprise, and that's because we're now selling to really, really large businesses. Fortune 500 companies that you've heard of are now using Box to manage all or significant parts of their data.
There's other services, for instance, from the bigger companies like Microsoft's Live Skydive, 335, I think 36 megabytes of free storage. How do you compete with Microsoft and Google, for instance, in that enterprise?
Yeah. Do you use a lot of Microsoft online products?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay. So the truth is Microsoft has launched a lot of things in the kind of internet realm. The challenge is they haven't really built a lot of great products that consumers actually want to use. So our focus is on building really great technology and letting the market kind of decide what they actually want to use in their business and in their personal lives.
How much growth do you think you're going to see in this space, or how much do you think it's actually worth right now?
Well, if you look at just the cloud in general, there's sort of billions of dollars being spent every single year on enterprise software, whether it's Salesforce.com or NetSuite or SuccessFactors. But really, over the next couple of years, there's going to be a complete sort of mushroom of growth of products. So I think the eventual category will be worth tens of billions of dollars, and that's why you see Amazon, that's why you see Apple, that's why you see Microsoft moving pretty aggressively into this space. What
do you think is going to be your growth rate for this year as compared to some of the other services?
Yeah, so in our particular business, we'll see probably about 3x growth of our kind of entire enterprise sales, which I think is kind of representative of the entire kind of growth of the ecosystem and of the industry.
And specifically, are you guys cash flow positive already, or when do you see that happening?
We see that happening in the next couple of years. Right now, we're just super focused on investing for aggressive growth over the next 24 months or so. Why
do you think that this has become, a lot of people signal kind of the consumer cloud and what you guys are doing as what Facebook and Twitter did in the beginning, and that was make social very easy to use, yep, very user friendly. Why do you think that that's become such a fundamental part of something that's actually pretty complicated and not really mainstream?
Well, for the most part, over the past kind of 10 or 15 years, we've had a lot of technology in businesses and in our personal lives that are too difficult to use, too complex. And so if you think about like what Apple just did with the iPad, it was totally to revolutionize tablet experiences and mobility and being able to work with applications on mobile devices. And so businesses are realizing that there's so much more power when you can build simpler products, whether they're social, whether they're faster and easier to use, and have those technologies delivered to end users, and then have them bring them into the enterprise.
One of the areas that we're seeing kind of in this space that people are trying to get into is music. How much of the product, obviously 90% of your product is for consumers, but where's most of that storage coming from, do you see in the future?
Yeah, so in our particular business, a lot of it's going to be kind of traditional enterprise data, so your documents, your presentations, financial information, contracts, all of that content. We actually work with a lot of media companies that put a lot of kind of media content on the platform. I think what Amazon just announced with the Amazon Cloud Drive, that'll be more focused on consumers. So letting you sort of store and access all of your music and media and HD videos from any device.
Obviously, security is a huge issue when we think about this, especially, yep, with enterprise consumers. What are you guys doing specifically to increase the security in your platform?
Yeah, and this is actually probably the number one kind of most important factor for all enterprise buyers is your technology and is your platform super secure? We invest disproportionately in the network, software, hardware, and application security of all of our technology. So, we think, we work with leading banks. We work with leading pharmaceutical companies who entrust us with their data, and we've had to build a very secure platform to do that.
Aaron Levie, the co-founder and CEO of Box.net. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. All right.